So do you have any new PBS videos in the work
Sure,
to
I'm
promote
glad
the
you asked.
release of
I
the
have
new
my
book?
new book, The New Retirement Savings Time Bomb. You can look it up online or just type in my name, Ed Slott, Slott, and you'll see it all over the place. And at the same time, as we speak, my 2021 public television show has begun to run this week. It's called Retire Safe and Secure with Ed Slott. Look at your local public television stations, and that's a good market to a good station to support for other programs. Remember, the key with my program is I don't sell any investments. I don't sell any stocks, bonds, funds, insurance, annuities. So you can get independent, accurate, unbiased advice. And that's what you need, because these tax rules surrounding money you take out of your IRA and 401k are not only complex, but they're very rigid and often unforgiving. Lots of the moves you make will be irrevocable and could cost you a fortune in taxes. That's why I put out my new book, The New Retirement Savings Time Bomb, to give you a complete, easy action plan to make sure the money you save for retirement, your IRAs and 401ks, will be there when you need it. And you can avoid and combat the latest risks to your retirement savings. And there's plenty going on there that you can do regardless of Congress. Don't wait for these guys. If you wait for them every day that goes by, the debt, the money you will owe back to IRS will increase.
Mm, that's a great point, because a lot of people are locked in fear for some reason. I have you on. You know, you're always popular. And folks, if you want to talk to Ed, the expert of IRAs, America's IRA expert, the number one resource for CPAs, financial advisors in the IRA space. Many of you, your largest asset is your 401k or IRA. So, Ed, what do you tell people to get them to stop procrastinating? I mean, I think for some reason it has been a big misfortune that people think for some reason that if they think like, when I do shows on this, people say, well, what if they change the rules on Roths? Well, who cares if they change the rules on Roths?
You take advantage
of the best thing you can do now. Yeah, explain that. Yeah.
They're here now. First of all, it's unlikely they're going to change the rules in a big way. You know why? The secret is Congress likes Roths. You know why? Because Roths bring in revenue to the government. The only money that can go into a Roth is already taxed money. They get their money up front. They're the worst financial planners on earth, all of Congress. They like getting their money up front. Now, if I was the accountant for the government, I'd say, what are you guys doing? You get all this money up front, but if everybody did a Roth, we'd have all these tax-free millionaires never paying taxes. And you know what they would say? Well, who cares about that? That's in the future. We just look at the 2-year budget cycle, and we see Roths bring in money up front. So we like Roths. In fact, in many of the proposals over the years, you may have heard the term, Josh, called Rothification. It's been coming up in the last 5 or 10 years, where they want to get rid of deductions for IRAs and 401ks, actually just 401ks, and replace it with all Roth type accounts. And why? Because they look at the Roth, it brings in money. Taking away deductions up front brings in more money to the government. So that's what I'm saying. The deductions are not worth anything anyway when tax rates are low. You're better off getting rid of the deduction. Don't fall for the deduction tax trap. That's like a Trojan horse. You take the deduction, all it means you'll owe it back and then some later when you need it most in retirement.
Yeah, and rates will probably be higher, so you will have missed out on one of the best opportunities in your life right now. I mean, I remember we had you on 10 years ago. We had you on at the start of the Obama term. We had you on at the start of, with the 2-year Roth, where people were allowed to Roth, and then they had 2 years to pay the tax. And people did not take it.
And you know what? People have called me on that. They said, I heard you 10 years ago. You said the same thing. Taxes will go up. And I was on another show and somebody called in and said, you said the same thing. I saw you 10 years ago. And you said taxes will go up. Do the Roth. And you know what? taxes didn't go up. In fact, they went down. So you were wrong. What do you have to say about that? I said, if you had listened to me 10 years ago and moved all your money to a Roth, think about the gains you would have had from 2010 to now, all growing tax-free forever in the Roth. Now you probably have those same gains, but you owe half of it back to the government. You could have taken advantage of that.
Yeah, and
now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I remember that. And not only that, you can't deduct as much as you could have 10 years ago. So there are a lot of people that couldn't deduct as much of their state and local taxes. So even though the marginal rate went down for many, for those who really would have benefited from some of your planning, I mean, that's everybody, but a lot of people in the higher brackets, they're paying, they would have made out on that deal better. Well, we'll talk more about that when we return. This is Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback with Ed Slott. We'll be back after these messages.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Jalinski Advisory Group. Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications, including 5-Star Wealth Manager, Advisory of the Year finalist by Senior Market Advisor, and top of the $1 Million Roundtable, are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Josh Jalinski or Wealth Quarterback LLC. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Wealth Quarterback website at www.jalinski.org. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to affect transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions, the information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, Josh Jalinski and Wealth Quarterback do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature, is provided for informational purposes only, and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Advisory services offered through Wealth Quarterback LLC.